From Sidewalk to Catwalk, an exhibition by Jean Paul Gaultier opens today at London's prestigious Barbican. Jean Paul Gaultier has transcended the 4 decades he's been involved in the fashion industry, while most importantly staying 100% true to his vision and totally honest. It is safe to say that Jean Paul Gaultier is one of the fashion industry's true living legends, and how brilliant that we get to share his work with him.
Happy and so honored, because honestly, I was always admiring, and I'm still admiring the difference of the character of the English.
This magnificent knitted dress from a 1985 dance show in Paris shows even as far back as the 80s his ultimate appreciation for handcrafted garments.
This is the 8th venue. In fact, the exhibition started in 2011 in Montreal and traveled in America and Europe, went to New York, and now is in London. It's really about passions, obsession of Gaultier from different years. And one thing I find fascinating is that unless you read the label, you cannot say what is from what year, because his work is very timeless, because he finds inspiration from the street or from other places. He doesn't follow trends, he initiates them.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. It's true that part of my work, there is a lot of London. So in some ways, that exhibition here is like a kind of homage to all my love that I have with that city. It's true that I should have loved to live in London. It was not possible because already I was into fashion and I was working in Paris in French couture, which is very different from the, let's say, like the spirit of fashion of London. And when I did my first collection, the first ones that were there and make me like critics, at that time good critics, it was like the English. The French didn't even give a shit about it, about my collection. So I feel more at home in some ways than in Paris. And I am like proud to say, like to show you all my love that I have with you.
The Shield fan pleated chiffon gown took a staggering 140 hours to complete for the Tribute to Africa 2005 couture collection, and I think shows his brilliantly inclusive love of all different cultures.
For me, I cannot even believe it should arrive in a museum, because for me, museum where when you are dead, when you are dead, like you can have something in a museum. And even for fashion, I didn't think it was something that could go with a museum. But at the end, it's quite pleasant to see it and to see it here, And I must say that truly I am very honored. And I must say thank you to the Barbican, that beautiful museum, very lively, and it goes exactly how I wanted to be the museum. And I must say, for the moment, it is, and it will be, the one and unique, the one for London. Very different from the beginning when we start.
So since we're in London, I'd like you, Jean Paul, maybe to tell us the first time you came to London.
First time, it was truly like with the school. I remember only that we have in the train like sandwiches that I didn't know. So it was my first vision, like to eat something that for one time, it was good because normally the British food is not exactly the big speciality, but the sandwiches were beautiful, and I came back like having like a remember of the breakfast, the best breakfast of my life. And after it became the English breakfast, the only thing about food that came in part of my life, you know. No, now you are doing a lot better in the food. Bon, so that first, but after I came beginning of 70s, I came, and it was Biba, the shop that was fabulous, and for me it was like a dream. It was in moment of fashion, just the moment, the beginning of the retro fashion, so it was quite fine. After that I went, like I told you, to the Sombrero, where I almost crossed David Bowie. I went to some, like of course, club, quite funny club, and like cruising club there is in London, because you say sorry, no sex, we are British, but it's not the truth. I know that. It's almost the opposite, hein? Petit coquin. So I was, I remember, so those good souvenirs. I remember to have seen Tommy, the movie, you know, from about the Who, you know, with the Who, and Elton John, with Tina Turner, which was fabulous. All Portobello, all the people that were dressed completely differently.
His obsession with corsetry began in his childhood and peaked in profile when Madonna wore it as part of her Blonde Ambition tour in 1990. The press often misunderstood it and saw it as exploitation. He sees it as empowerment.
Can you tell us what kind of child you were and how this obsession about corsetry with the grandmother comes from, with Nana and everything?
One time I saw, she was not there, like a corset, like that salmonish satin thing with lace up. And I was like, what is that? You know, it was looking like very abstract. And she told me that story, that she was wearing it in the beginning of last century, you know. And she was wearing it, and she has to drink vinegar to have a contraction of her stomach, you know, like that. And at that time, you have to lace it up at the back, you know, so it makes your waist like teeny. It was quite dramatic, you know, let's say, and like a torture, but it was like that, you know. So me, I find it nice, and it stayed in my mind. On one day, after many years, you know, maybe 20 years after, I did like a collection with complete, but it became a dress, you know. But it is because of that souvenir. I think, you know, that childhood can change you, you know, and be always part of in your mind, you know, all your life.
Everything was misunderstood in this period because it was post-women's lib and women didn't want to go back in corset. But for him it was to show another side of femininity and also to put women in to show them as powerful women and also to play with genders, with masculinity and femininity. And he did skirts for men, which in fact were inspired by the garçons de café in the brasseries and in the cafes in Paris.
Yeah. Gaultier's lifelong love affair with the Breton stripe is evident in all of his work, but never has it been so fabulously reinvented than in this 2002 spring-summer piece from Haute Couture. This magnificent piece behind me is from the 2003 Jean Paul Gaultier Haute Couture collection. Regulated by the Chambre Syndicale de la Couture Parisienne, Haute Couture shows exclusively in Paris. Let me explain. It's like a circle of excellence that designers must be invited to show and be part of. They have very strict guidelines on how garments are made, shown and sold. It's a very, very exclusive club.
Wanted to have an exhibition that was alive, something that was more a contemporary installation. So that's why we ended up working with Ubu, the theater company, to create these animated mannequins that you see throughout the exhibition.
Which are super creepy.
No, it's not creepy, it's real people.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Always I heard about the profession of model, like be beautiful and shut up. If you are beautiful, you have to shut up because you have no brain. And I find that very scandalous because for me they were more clever than the men. I wanted always sometime maybe like if the girl could speak during the show, you know, not only to be that kind of, not to be a robot, but to express more themselves. And this is why also I choose like to show the man like a male object, like because the woman was considered like only as a sex object, I wanted the male to be sex object too. And now I think it's true because look at all the cougar. You know, they have the right to be cougar. And it is well, you know. Congratulations. Voila, it's normal. Not only the men to be that, you know. So, about the beauty, I should say that I was very lucky because my parents were very modest family, but humble, but open-minded. I remember that I said to my parents, you know, I was like 12 or something like that, if I arrive with a girl, a black, what should you say? If you love each other, that's fine for us. Years after, it was not a black girl that I present them, but I say that I was with a boy, you know. They ask me, are you in love? I say, yes. So that's fine for us. So my view about beauty, it was like not concentrated on one stereotype. Like sometimes it is on fashion. Now it's the time of the Russian girl. Now it's the time of that, you know, like stereotype. I like different kind of beauty, and I think there is beauty in a lot of things that if you are not conditioned so much in only one type, you can see it is just around you. You know, you have to open your eyes. That one, maybe it's dark and dark hair and dark skin is very beautiful. But that blonde, very super blonde one is also very beautiful. English rose is beautiful too. And the red, scarlet type are beautiful. And from different country, from different shape, from different age also. Because how could I think that it's not good to get aging when I saw my grandmother, which was so lovely and so nice with me, you know, and so open-minded. So for me, also getting old can be very beautiful. Voilà.
Thank you.